Hi, I'm Paul Faronbi, aka IncrediPaul, and welcome to 6-Minute Saturdays, the shorter form of the podcast where I talk about specific leadership, business, and career topics. This time in leadership is what the focus is going to be, and I want to talk about starting with why. Just think about that for a second. Why? What is your purpose? What is your reason to be? There's a great book by Simon Sinek called Start With Why, and he talks a lot about this and how the why separates the great companies, or not even the good companies or the great companies, and the ones that are long lasting. Starting with why is crucial to understand why is your company there. Where so many times we can focus on the what, but the what might be shared by a lot of different people. So the perfect example is what he shared about what Apple computers, or just Apple now, when they first started out Apple computers, they focus on the why. They focus on being cutting edge, disrupting the market, and being really renegades, people who are going against the grain, and people who like things pristine at a higher level. And they made that really clear that they are for people who want to go against the grain, want things in a specific way. They don't really cater to everyone. And the thing about starting with why and really focusing on your purpose is that it's very powerful. So think about this. I think we can all agree, whether or not you're on team Apple, on team Android or iPhone, that debate's never going to end. That we all agree that the iPhone is not always the best phone on the market. And then you can get into it. There's a lot of different Androids on the markets. The Samsung phones are not always the best phones on the market. I know people know about Samsung phones. There are specific things that they may do better. So I know that the iPhones are known for being simple and streamlined and connected to all the everything in the ecosystem, whether it's the iMac or the iPads. Samsung does a similar thing. They're known for their user interface and customization. And then Google Pixel is known for their photos and all that stuff. So I am definitely on Team Android, even though I have both phones. But Team Android on more Google Pixel side. And the thing I've noticed is that Google, for their phones, does not have a specific why. They focus on the what, as far as what the features are, what are the things that they're trying to accomplish. But it's not clear as far as what Google's why is. And I think that's why their market share on phones has not been as good as it probably could be. But Apple and iPhones have been very clear on really setting the grain, changing the game. The iPhone was the first smartphone, and it really changed the game as far as things are done, putting things in the power of the user, from developing iTunes and the App Store and all this stuff, from shifting that phone carriers used to tell phones makers what to do and what features to provide. But now a lot of stuff what iPhone has done with the apps and iTunes and all this stuff is that the phone makers are telling these phone providers or phone carriers what to do. So when you have a why, when you have a purpose, you transform the game. You transform things. You transform yourself, because it's really easy to start with the what and be like, okay, what do I want to do? I'm making phones, or I'm making computers, or all this stuff. The what can change, but the why is the real core of what people are trying to accomplish. He gave another example with TiVo, which I don't know how many of you remember TiVo or not, as far as be able to record live TV automatically, be able to stream it wherever you want. And TiVo did become a verb, but TiVo really focused more on the features instead of focusing on their why, which was to give power back to the user. And then they ended up getting sold and going bankrupt, all this stuff. So I'm currently reading this. I've read this book before, but I'm reading it again as I'm realizing that the why and your purpose is so clear. And for leaders, that means the vision. What is your vision? Where are you going? Like, people can't see it now, but you have a vision, you have a strategy from that vision of where you want your organization to go, where you want your people to go, all of those things. John Maxwell has a great quote that says, leaders see more and before. As a leader, are you thinking about more and before? Are you focused on the why? Don't get me wrong, the what is important. And he also mentioned with that, like Apple, they had Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak. And it's important that you have someone that's doing the what along with the why as well. Walt Disney and his brother as well is another example. Is you definitely need the what, but the why is the core focus, is a central focus. It is the reason why people come back to you, even when your product might not be the best one out there. So think about your why, think about your purpose, establish a vision so that you can keep being incredible. Thanks for listening.